I think the biggest thing is just run it like a game as best we can so we can feel just the structure and the organization of the flow of how we're going to do things and get plays in and out and organize it to where the guys feel like they're playing in a game. That's why these things are fun because you can go against another opponent. They haven't necessarily seen what we're going to do, and we can kind of get in the flow of play calling and game like situations.
How was the operation on Friday night?
It was good. It was really good. I mean, we were really smooth with it. We had no problems with anything. It felt good. I know all the guys were enjoying it, so I think it was really good.
With Landon working his way back, what are you seeing and trying to find out about your depth at left guard?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, right, we have the best O-line coach in the NFL. So from that standpoint, we feel really confident no matter what happens and who plays in that position. So Stout's done an unbelievable job throughout the years of getting somebody ready to play, whoever that is, and not really skipping a beat.
They're saying Brett there is Tyler Steen an option that he can play there.
Well, I think really all those guys are just going to work throughout the rest of camp, and then whoever we need to show up will show up. Like I said, I think Stout does such a good job of having all those backups ready no matter what the situation is. And Steen's played over the years, come in from off the bench and played. So I think we feel really confident with what Stout has planned for.
What are you seeing from Brett Toad? I mean, like even before Landon got hurt, he seemed to be taking the second team reps at left guard.
Yeah, he's a really smart individual, really good with the detail of the game. He understands a lot of positions, which is great to have a guy like that can line up in multiple spots and be able to step in if something happens. So I think that's the biggest thing he brings. And I think he's been in the system for a while. He understands what we want to do and the way Stout teaches it, which is really important. So the details of it feel very natural when he's next to the other guys.
Kevin, how does a guy like Darius Cooper look so comfortable after making a big jump in level of competition?
I think really when you look at it, it's a testament to Aaron Moorhead, right? Aaron and I were together, at Texas A&M. We have a long relationship, and he's done a good job throughout his career of developing guys. And I think he had a good feel for what he needed to teach Coop as far as coming in from the college level, where he needed to get to, how to help him with certain things. I know AJ's kind of taken him under his wing. So I think there's people that are looking out for him in his best direction and understanding, you can't learn it all in one trip, right? He's got to kind of be patient, getting him to understand patience is okay, and then we'll get you to where you need to get to.
Do you think maybe this first time that Darius sort of like flashed you that you were like, oh?
I think really his physical skill set, you could kind of see it in the spring a little bit, just running around like, okay, this guy's a little bit different. So I think from that standpoint, you just don't know how far it'll go. And that's where we just got to continue to push him to see how far he can get with his game. And he's done some nice things, but we all know, right, it's a long haul. So he's got to continue to kind of do that to just keep progressing. So when we see the progression at the end, we'll see what we have.
How much different towards the schemes from Fix? Do you do anything to figure the offense in terms of that?
Yes and no. Like, we obviously kind of treat it like a game. We kind of know what he likes to do. We played him last year. So I think from that standpoint, yes, there's certain things we'll have in that we may not have in against Vic and vice versa. But a lot of it's just about execution. Like, you want the guys to problem solve. We don't know what Jim's going to do. Him and I have talked just briefly about just the practice, the structure of it. But it's a good test for our guys to kind of say, okay, we got to go against something new. We've worked this play against Vic at length. Now let's see if we can problem solve it and execute it against a different defense so that during the year we feel comfortable against whatever defense we're getting, we can run the plays.
Do you think maybe these past 4 years you've had to go to the backup quarterback? Do you spend these preseason games thinking about how you would call a game for Tanner if you were to play?
I think really when I've spent time, like you said, with the quarterbacks, that you kind of get a feel for what they're good at, what they like, and what they're comfortable with in games. And I think that kind of showed in the game the other day. You can kind of have a feel for a sense of what he's good at. And you kind of talk to them and build that relationship about when you call a play, they're comfortable with hearing what you're saying, knowing how to execute it and keep yourself on track. So I think there is a little bit of getting a feel for guys. He's been around for a little bit, so I think we have a good feel for each other and kind of where we need to go if he had to play. And then I think the other guys, we're still working through that, and just it'll be a work in progress.
What's your
Mm-hmm.
Only had 3 full practices with the 2 of them together. Does that impact how you evaluate where the offense is right now?
Not really. I mean, I've been around them for so long, and I've been in the room with them, and I have good relationships with them. They're constantly in my office. Devontae hangs out all the time, and AJ, and we just talk about things and go through things, and it's been like that the last 4 years. So I'm really comfortable with who they are and what they bring, and I know when the lights are on, they're going to do what they need to do, and what they can do is obviously really, really, really well.
With your depth at wide receiver, last year you guys opened the 53-man roster with 5 on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what goes into the conversation of like evaluating what you have right here and possibly expand it to 6, or what kind of goes in that? What does that mean for the offense?
I think obviously it's a big discussion with everybody. So it's Nick and Howie and myself, and we all sit down and decide. It's really a big picture thing. Sometimes you can have more, sometimes you can't, depending on the other position groups. So really, it's a big picture thing as far as how many you can keep on the roster.
Are you advocating for that?
Johnny,
Say it again.
Are you advocating for that?
To be honest, it's whatever's best for the team at that point, because sometimes other positions need other people.
For Johnny and Anaya specifically, to further that, just look a lot more comfortable in year 2. What do you see the growth from those guys?
I think you said it right there, right? Just year 2 is a big difference for them. The game does slow down a little bit. You have a feel for, the pace of it, the way it's played, what the defenses are doing, how guys react to things. So I do think they've improved from that standpoint, and they feel more comfortable. You can definitely see that in practices and in the game the other day, to where the game just kind of slowed down. They're processing the plays better. They're in year 2 of the offense, essentially, as far as, the verbiage. And so you're able to be more comfortable and do what you do best. So I think it's been a good thing for them to have that extra year.
The running back rotation taking the shape of all 4, Kevin. What do you notice about the skill sets of the different guys that complement?
Yeah, I think all 3 of them really have totally different skill sets, obviously between Saquon and Will and AJ and the rest of the guys. And Jamal does a great job of just kind of mixing them in. And really now's the time to just kind of test them and see what else they can do. You don't know a skill set until you see it, right? So I think we've done a good job of putting AJ in positions to catch balls and run routes, and put Ship in a position to be a pure runner, so you can kind of test it all now and see what you have. And Jamal does a really good job with that to kind of balance it out. So we're not just getting this is what he has to do or this is what he does. So I think it's been fun to just kind of experiment and see what they can do.
How much have to do with lack of fullback plays and with Ben's injury? Or is that just
A little bit of that, and a little bit of these are public practices, so I just gotta be careful with how much you really want to do in those settings. So a little bit of both.
Another year with Jahan Dotson. How have you seen his game evolve? You've seen him grow in a certain area?
Yeah, he really has. I mean, he's a really good route runner. That's the one thing when you put the tape on or you watch him in person, his route running ability is really dynamic. And I think his maturity of just being around the other guys, you can start to feel him in different ways in the offense. And I think what he's shown too is you can move him around. I don't know necessarily we knew that when we first got him, but now he's in a spot where we can put him anywhere and we feel confident. So I think his game has grown tremendously from that standpoint.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.